In the previous video, I did the base construction for all of the turrets, but one thing that I didn't do that I should have done is just to check the turrets for any defects in the molding for these resin components. This white resin is very difficult to see the details in, and because of that, it's also very difficult to see defects. So I need to change its color, and the easiest way to change its color is to just spray it with a surfacer. Mr. Surfacer 1000 will do a good job. But there are a lot of metal components on these turrets, and I don't want to spray surfacer directly onto metal components because it has a tendency to not stick so well. So before I spray the surfacer, I need to spray the metal components with metal primer. This is Tamiya metal primer. It comes out of a bottle that looks like a normal Tamiya glue bottle. It does have a brush that you can use to paint it on, but it's very thin and I prefer to just airbrush it. There's no need to thin it at all. It is thin enough to just work out of an airbrush straight away. Once the metal primer has dried, I can then proceed to spray the entire turret in Mr. Surfacer 500. After spraying the surfacer, there are some very clear defects on the sides, mostly at the back of the turrets. Fortunately, that is an open area without much detail around it, so a little bit of sanding with 400 grit sandpaper and then another round of surfacer is able to correct those defects. I should have sprayed the turrets and surfacer before I installed the UP position or the brass barrels, but I was lucky and none of the defects were anywhere near those components, so I got away with it. With that out of the way, I can now confidently move on to building these platforms for the X turret. These platforms are going to be entirely constructed out of 0.25 by 0.5 millimeter styrene stock. I've looked at numerous photos of these frameworks and I've tried to estimate the size that I should build these for this 1 in 350 scale model. I've decided that each box is roughly 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters, which means that this 3-box structure will be 12 millimeters long. Obviously, I'm not going to make each box individually. I'm going to make them in sets of 3. That means I need to cut out long sections of 12 millimeters and then short sections of just under 4 millimeters. I will be building with the styrene stock on its edge such that when you look down, its width will appear to be 0.25 millimeters. That means I need to subtract half a millimeter from 4 millimeters and create a short segment of 3.5 millimeters. It should then be possible to make a 12 by 4 millimeter rectangle with that stock. For preparing these sections of styrene stock, the chopper is very useful. Obviously, these aren't very difficult cuts, but they are cuts that need to be repeated, and not having to carefully measure out each component is very helpful. I set up the jig such that the length is correct, and then repeat the cut as many times as required to get the necessary number of pieces. Another thing that I should just note at this point is that there should be a 3 square frame and a 2 square frame. Initially, the aft frame had 3 squares, but at some point later in the life of HMS Hood, the 3rd square got removed and it was reduced to just 2 squares. I'm going to make 2 3-square frames with the intention of choosing the best frame to keep as the 3-frame version, and then for the other frame, I'll simply cut off the square that I like the least. That also does simplify the construction a bit because, at least for this stage, everything that I need to do is just duplicated. Once enough sections of styrene stock have been cut to create 2 of these frameworks, construction can begin. Working with small sections of styrene stock can be tricky, but in this case, I have a trick. I'm going to build it on the sticky side of a piece of tape. This allows me to position each of the sections of styrene stock very precisely, such that they are in contact with each other in the correct position, but without having to apply any glue and without having to worry about knocking them and having them slide all over the place. Once I have all of the sections of styrene stock in the correct position, they can then be glued together using plastic cement. Plastic cement will obviously bond the styrene, but it will not bond to the tape, which means I can flood the area with this glue and not have to worry about anything getting stuck to this framework that shouldn't be stuck to the framework. Of course, this glue does quite substantially soften the styrene, so I need to be careful to leave it for a good long time to properly dry and for the plastic to regain its strength. But that is going to be a problem for a little bit later. After the initial set of 3 squares is complete, and the vertical struts are strongly enough glued in place such that they aren't going to move if I tap them, I then move on to installing the diagonals. I start by installing the long diagonal, which runs for the full length inside the square. Once I have all the long diagonals in place, I then cut even shorter sections of styrene stock, and I use these to create the other diagonal, which is obviously now bisected by the long diagonal. Once all the diagonal pieces are in, I once again flood the area with extra thin plastic cement. As before, the plastic cement softens the styrene quite a lot, so I just set this card aside and let it dry for a good long time. Now that the plastic cement has dried and the styrene is strong again, I can remove these structures from the tape. However, they are incredibly delicate. This is still 0.5 by 0.25 millimeter styrene stock, and I'm not entirely convinced that I'll be able to easily pull these pieces off of this tape without damaging them. But I have a trick for this. What I'm going to do is apply a whole lot of lacquer thinners to this piece of tape. Lacquer thinners will not harm the plastic cement or the styrene stock itself. However, it will interfere with the glue on the tape and make it become very slippery. Essentially, the lacquer thinners will make the glue on the tape lose its ability to stick to the component. Of course, the component is stuck to the tape, so it's not so easy to get the lacquer thinners underneath it, so I gently prod it with a wire backwards and forwards just so that some lacquer thinners can slowly be drawn underneath the component. After a short amount of time of doing this, the components break free and I can pick them up off the tape and drain them of their lacquer thinners. The next thing that needs to be done to these platforms is they need to be strengthened a bit. I'm going to strengthen them with extra thin superglue, but there's another thing that the superglue is going to do as well. If you look at the images of these struts and these frames, you'll notice that there are braces in the corner, which makes them look as though they are squared off or rounded off. They shouldn't end in a very sharp point. I figured that I can use superglue to create this effect. If I put enough in the corner, it's going to create a sort of webbing in that corner and fill out that gap of it. This is quite convenient because it'll have 2 roles. Not only is this going to improve the strength of this component, but it is also going to make it a better representation of what was actually on HMS Hood. After the superglue has dried, I'm now quite happy with the strength of these components, but I just want to check that they are actually looking correct. So to do that, I spray the frame in Mr. Surfacer 1000, and once again, I check for defects. Fortunately, this has gone quite well. I don't see any defects, so I can move on to installation. The first thing that I need to do before I actually attach these frames to the roof of the turret is I need to choose which framework is going to become the 2 square version. Choose the one that I like the least, and I cut off the box that I like the least of those 3. This is easily done using a flat blade. There's also a little bit of trimming that needs to be done on the other frameworks on the other ends. There was a little bit of overrun of the longer pieces of styrene stock. During the adjustment process, when I was gluing these components together, I found that those 12mm sections were just a little bit too long. So I just shaved them off with this blade as well. Installation on the model can now begin. I'm going to start with the 2 segment section. This is going to go aft of the turret underneath the rangefinder. This is a very constrained space. It really can go in only one position. That's why I'm starting with this section. It slots into its place and I glue it down using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. The forward section goes at the front of the turret and it needs to be aligned with the section aft. To help me keep everything in line, I apply a section of tape to the roof of the turret, and then I place some extra thick superglue along the edge of the 3 section segment. The section is then put in contact with the roof of the turret using the tape as a guide. These platforms are now awkwardly floating in the air with one edge tacked to the roof of the turret, so I need to install some support struts underneath them. Here I've chosen 2mm by 0.25mm styrene stock to create the struts. The installation is actually very simple. I arbitrarily cut sections of the stock to the rough length. It slightly longer than what they need to be, but precision is not required really for this at all. All that matters is that they are longer than they have to be. And then I glue them in place using extra thick and extra thin super glue. Once the support struts are fully bonded to both the underside of the platform and the side of the turret, I then clip them at an angle using clippers. This makes it quite a lot easier to get the correct shape for the struts. I don't have to worry about pre-measuring anything. I just have to be sure that the blades of the clippers hit both corners of the support struts. And since this is a curved surface, none of the support struts are going to be the same anyway, so if there are slight variances, it won't be noticeable to the eye. Once I'm happy with the state of the 2mm tall supports, I sand the area just to remove any excess glue that got on the side of the turret. In addition to these larger 2mm sections which attach to the side of the turret, there are also a few sections that need to go between the roof of the turret and the underside of the platforms. These sections I make from various widths of styrene stock. All that I'm doing is taking a section of styrene stock and cutting it at a slight angle. The angled piece of styrene stock is then inserted under the platform until it is wedged snugly between the platform and the roof. That's how I know it's in the correct location, at which point if there's a section that is sticking out the other end, I cut it to length, and once it's the correct length, I glue it in place using extra thin super glue. Once properly glued in place, I then clip off the other end such that it is flush on both sides of the platform. This is actually a really easy way to install these support struts, and in not much time at all, they are all in place, and I'm quite happy with the result. The last thing to do is to attach a small piece of plastic to represent the bridge that is attached to the rear of the turret. This is a 3 by 0.5mm piece of styrene stock cut to an arbitrary length. It's around 4mm. I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm intentionally leaving it quite simple at this point. I found it quite difficult to find information on this bridge, so if I leave it simple like this and I get it wrong and somebody tells me what I've done wrong, I'll be able to very easily correct it. So I await those directions. With all the styrene stock in place and the glue fully dried, everything is then sprayed in another layer of Mr. Surfacer 1000 just to be 100% sure that there aren't any defects. And there aren't, so I'm very happy with this outcome. That means that the turrets are now ready for painting, and that is what I'll be doing in the next video. If you would like to support this channel or see how this ship looks when it is completed, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.